So this video is going to explain the pedagogical intent of this assessment, as well as explain the features and the various parts to the assessment, as well as the preparation that you need to do before the first workshop. So this assessment has been designed through collaboration with VU staff, students, as well as the specialisation workshop teachers through a process of iterative evaluation and with consideration of what each of these stakeholders would like out of the typical unit plan assessment. As a result of all of this, we have designed this assessment as an educational experience. So this assessment stimulates aspects of what are known as professional learning communities, or PLCs, which many schools are currently adopting as a means of improving student outcomes. And in a PLC, teachers meet regularly. They share expertise, they work collaboratively together to improve their own teaching skills, as well as the academic performance of their students. So in this assessment, we have a 5-hour PLC planning session, which will be undertaken in the specialisation workshop. So the pedagogical purpose and the core intent of this assessment is for you to experience what schools and what teachers are currently doing, to provide authenticity to this assessment task. And it's intended that you will work collaboratively in your specialisation groups with the specialisation teacher as the expert, as you potentially would in a school. So here you'll be discussing your own personal and professional attribute strengths, which are the skills and values that you bring to the group. And we will also be reflecting on evidence of good teaching practice, as well as what we can improve in ourselves and how we can improve student outcomes, both within the context of your own teaching attributes, but also within the context of a unit plan. So the structure of this assessment, as it explains in the first part here, has been designed around the framework for improving student outcomes, or the FISO model, which uses the latest research on student learning and best practice to assist schools to focus their efforts on key areas that have been known to show the greatest impact on school development. You're not going to be assessed on your knowledge of the FISO model in this assessment, but you should know that we've used this model as a clear framework to base the planning and evaluation process in this assessment task. So we've only chosen a couple of aspects of the FISO model in this assessment for you to experience what it would be like to discuss and evaluate teaching and learning standards with an aim to improve a unit of work. So as you know, being able to plan and reflect in this way is such an important experience and the first step in optimising student learning. So you might see on placement, your placement school adopt this way of planning or aspects of this. And the next step would be that you would experience would be the implementation of these unit plans and obviously further evaluation. So when you're on placement, have a look at what schools are doing in their unit planning and unit evaluating. So on the specialisation workshops, you will experience this PLC planning session in both of your specialisations, much like you would if you were teaching both of your specialisations in a school. While you will be experiencing the same structure in these two specialisation workshops, the content and the discussions that you're going to have in the different PLC groups will be different because each specialisation comes with its own curriculum, pedagogical focus, and any nuances. So in the first workshop, you're going to be formatively assessed by your specialisation teacher, the workshop teacher, who will give you feedback on the rubric. This mark will not contribute to your grade for assignment 2. However, the workshop teacher in the second specialisation workshop will provide the evaluative feedback on the rubric, and this mark will go and will be recorded as your grade for assignment 2. So it's important to note here that you're not just being assessed on what you document in these workshops, but also on what you collaboratively discuss. So PLCs are a space to share and discuss ideas and to constructively challenge and stretch each other in our knowledge and understandings. So this is what we want you to experience in this assessment. We have broken the assessment up into different parts. You'll also see that the rubric has been separated, if I scroll down, into these separate parts for clarity. So just going back to the first part. The specialisation teacher is going to share their own professional expertise with you. They will help you understand how to unpack the Victorian curriculum and any associated policy documents, and they will showcase their pedagogical approaches connected to effective teaching within their specialisation. In the second part, your collaborative groups will begin to plan together. So here you're going to share parts of your answers to the goal setting prompts, if I scroll up here, which you would have completed before you come into the workshop. And you're going to use that in a get to know you activity or get to know the group activity. So looking at what you need to bring into the workshop. Goal setting is a key feature of your own professional development, as you should consider your own strengths of where you're up to now, and then on the areas that you think you need to work on. So you're going to write short responses up to about 300 words in total on aspects of teaching that you admire, so qualities or characteristics, positive memories of your education, that you would like to bring into your professional career. So it might be, a particular teacher that you really admired for a particular reason. So you'll discuss that here. What strengths do you currently hold for teaching rather? So here we're looking strengths in terms of character or professional or skills. So strengths that are important for teaching. And then what areas do you think you need to work on for your teaching in each of your specialisations? So any weaknesses or opportunities for improvement. You're only going to do this once before the first workshop because you'll bring the same responses into the second workshop. So after the get to know you activity, the specialisation workshop are going to provide you with a unit to unpack, a unit of work. You're going to do this by using Do4's 4 high impact questions to discuss and document. And they are, what is it we want our students to learn? So this question is all about curriculum. Number 2, how will we know if students are learning? So that's looking at assessment. What are we looking for in that assessment to know that our students are learning? Number 3, how will we respond when students don't learn? So differentiation here. Okay, how are we going to support them? And number 4, how will we enrich and extend the learning for students who are proficient? So again, differentiation, but now we're looking at the other end and, extending the students. In part 3, you will take this information that you've come up with to conceptualise this unit into inquiry-based unit using Kath Murdoch's mapping framework provided on VUC. So before you go into the workshop, you should research and understand the key features of an inquiry unit. What are they? What should I be including in this inquiry unit? What are the key questions that students should be asking? What are the focus of each stage of the inquiry model? What should students be doing in the tuning in phase, for an example? You should also explore your specialisation's Victorian curriculum. Make sure you understand how to navigate through that. And these resources are on the VUC. So in this model, Kath Murdoch's model here, you've got particular focus areas, and this handout is on VUC in greater detail, so you can see what is part of each phase. You've also got some key instructional strategies that you've got to focus on. Okay, so we've got engagement, inclusion, differentiation, and then we've got assessment as well that you've got to consider. And then part 4 is a short reflection. You've got both collaborative and individual parts. And, reflecting is such an important means to professional development in the teacher profession. So that's an overview of the assessment. Make sure you read over the assessment and its features, its different parts. Come to the first workshop with your goal-setting responses to the 4 questions above. Have a look at Kath Murdoch's inquiry model, understand the various stages in that model, and explore your Victorian curriculum. Obviously, you don't need to know it off by heart, but you need to be able to navigate it with ease. So we hope you get a lot out of this assessment and that it helps to develop your own teaching and planning confidence within your specialisation. And we'll see you at the workshops.